The Washington Wizards in the 2021 offseason would ship off Russell Westbrook to the Lakers in exchange for Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, Montrezl Harrell, Kyle Kuzma, and a draft pick that would later on become Isaiah Jackson, and he would be sent to the Indiana Pacers. And along with this, they would hire Wes Unseld Jr. as their new head coach. And heading into the season, Washington didn't have a very high bar set for them, and a lot of people expected the Washington Wizards to be a first-round exit at best. But so far, the Wizards are actually one of the hottest teams in the league, and currently they are 13-8, and that begs the question, are they legit, or are they just on a hot streak in the first few months of the year? Well, that's what we're going to be discussing in today's video. Before we get started though, please make sure to hit that like button if you guys enjoyed, as it really does help out the channel, and also make sure to subscribe if you guys are new and you guys enjoy this type of content, so you don't miss out on any new videos like this. Plus, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and once we hit our goal, I am finally going to do a face reveal. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get this video started. Now, when talking about the Washington Wizards, we obviously have to start off with Bradley Beal. Bradley Beal, he is having a down season shooting-wise, and he definitely hasn't been playing his best basketball this year, but I think we can all agree that he is still the face of this team, and he's still the best player on the Wizards. He's one of the game's best shooting guards, and this man can score over 25 a night, and I mean, typically it's on good efficiency. This year, you know, it hasn't been as efficient, but he's still a very, very good player. And I will say, the fact that he's not even playing the best basketball of his career and the Wizards are winning games, I mean, that does speak volumes to, you know, how much better like the team is, you know, around him, and how much better, I guess you could say, the coaching is. I mean, that, I have to say, that is pretty impressive. But Bradley Beal, he might be having a down season, but he's still the best player on this team. He's still the face of the team, and he's still one of the best players and shooting guards in the entire NBA. And that's all I really have to say for Bradley Beal. I think we can all agree that he's a really good player. Now, alongside him in the backcourt is Spencer Dinwiddie, and Spencer Dinwiddie definitely deserves a mention as well when you talk about the Wizards. With Spencer Dinwiddie, he's a really solid point guard next to Bradley Beal. He's been pretty good as a scorer and playmaker, and to add on, he's shooting his highest percentage from three of his career on nearly 6 attempts per game. And although he's not exactly an all-star per se, he's still a very, very good player. And but him and Bradley Beal, they form one of the better backcourt duos in the league. Maybe not top 5, but I mean, it's a pretty good backcourt. And the three main members of the Russell Westbrook trade, they've been pretty good contributors to the squad as well, and let's go ahead and talk about them. And the first guy I'm going to talk about is Kyle Kuzma. Kyle Kuzma, before the season started, was just an absolute meme. No one really took him seriously, and anytime you bring up Kyle Kuzma, people would basically just make jokes and, you know, just meme. I mean, you guys get what I'm saying. Kyle Kuzma, he was an absolute meme before the season started, but this year he's actually been pretty good, and he's been one of the biggest surprises of the year. I mean, you really love to see that as a Wizards fan. I mean, I mean, I'm not even a Wizards fan, but I mean, it's really just nice to see guys prove, you know, their doubters wrong. Kyle Kuzma, he's been pretty good as a scorer and also very good as a rebounder, and he's contributed very nicely to this team. And Kyle Kuzma, he's been very solid. That's all I'm gonna say for Kyle Kuzma. KCP, I mean, he hasn't exactly been an all-star by any means, but he has played his role well, and he's been pretty good as a 3-and-D wing. I mean, KCP, he's been pretty good this year. That's all I'm really gonna have to say. Then there's Montrezl Harrell, and I mean, Montrezl Harrell, he has been fantastic for Washington. He's been having one of the best seasons of his career in 2022. Trez has been top 3 in points per game for this team, despite the fact that he's coming off the bench, and he's also been really good as a rebounder. And I mean, I have to say, I mean, he's just been very good, and honestly, he might win 6th man of the year this season. Montrezl Harrell, God, has he been fantastic. Now, outside of those guys, you still got pretty good contributors to this team, like Daniel Gafford, and he will be the final player I do talk about in this video, as he's really, well, not the final player, actually. He's very solid for them, and although he is more traditional, he's pretty solid big man for them as a good scorer around the rim, and he's also a pretty solid defensive player. And the real final player I'm going to talk about is Deni Avdija, however you say his name. Deni Avdija, I'm pretty sure That's how you say it. But anyways, Deni Avdija, he's been pretty decent as well. Now, offensively, yeah, he hasn't exactly been fantastic, but defensively, he's actually been pretty decent for them. And he's been, you know, he hasn't exactly been amazing, but he's been pretty solid for the Wizards as well. And it's not just the players that deserve credit for this turnaround or this hot streak, whatever you want to call it. Their new head coach, Wes Unseld Jr., he's been light years better than, well, I mean, he's been far better than Scott Brooks, man. Words can't describe how much better he is than Scott Brooks, and it's resulted in them being a much better team. He's run some pretty good lineups that have resulted in a much better ball being played, and Scott Brooks, I mean, simply put, he was just not a very good head coach, and I mean, letting go of relieving Scott Brooks of, you know, his duties as head coach of this team, that was 100% the right move, and I mean, it's really paid off so far this season. Now, with all of that being said and laid out, how good are the Wizards in my opinion? Personally, I really don't think they will finish the season out as like a top 3 seed in the East, and I do think they kind of will come back down to earth like a little bit as the season does go on, and I don't think they're winning anything like 60 games. However, that being said, I do think this is a very decent team, and I have to say, they're a lot better than I thought. And they've been a lot better than I thought they would be. Before the season started, I thought this team was actually going to miss the play-in tournament. I thought they were going to be like the 12 or 13, you know, like the 12 or 11 seed. But, I mean, I have to say, I'm truly sorry, Washington Wizards. I really doubted you guys, and I mean, I'm looking pretty bad right now. The Washington Wizards, they're actually a very solid team, and I think they should be a top 8 team in the East this year, and I think they are a playoff team. But that being said, I don't think they're a contender, and by the end of the season, I do expect them to fall off a little bit. And honestly, I view this team ceiling as like a second round exit, but that's just my opinion. Let me guys know what you guys think in the comment section below, because that'll do it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. It truly means a lot to me. Again, hit that like button if you guys enjoyed, and also make sure to subscribe, and also go ahead and check out my podcast and my Twitter. Both the links to both of them, they are in the description below. But without further ado, I'm out, you guys.